Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Hey there, Fruity. Nice to see you, Joe. And thank you for Vin and Joe for always, Joanne for being here and welcoming everybody. Welcome in, Emmy and Kato. Hello, 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 Mr. Halfset. And Cooler Cat. Thanks for saying hello and being here early. Welcome in. Today we're going to be drawing a lot of animals, and it's going to be fun because we're doing something really simple today. And we are going to be drawing these animals in a very simplified way. And just to let you guys know, I spent a really long time getting these images. It may look like, I just kind of collected them, but I can't tell you how hard it is to find the exact images that you want and not not including or just getting rid of all the AI images out there. So, actually, I had to search when I did a Google search. I had to search for images between 1998 and 2022 in order to weed out all of the AI generated images. And so you can see that a lot of these are, some of these are realistic, some of these are illustrations, and some of these are sculptures because, where am I going to get a real, real dragon? So yeah, this took a little bit of time. But I just wanted to show you that I do collect my references ahead of time so that, you can kind of see what I'm referencing and how I start an illustration. So welcome in. Yes, 1998. I just put in a random date. I don't know, because I feel like, whoops, what was that? Oh, my speaker dropped. Haha. I feel like some of the images that are older, are actually really good. And so, yeah, we're going to be drawing a lot of animals today. So very excited for that. And just to start us off, our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone. So join us for free live stream lessons every week. We're not just a YouTube channel, we're an online school of illustration, and we help art nerds turn their passion into income. So if you're an art nerd, be sure to join our Discord. You can find all of our notes and artwork from streams, as well as cool challenges and other free resources to help you improve your art. So definitely join our Discord if you aren't on there. If you aren't on there already, lots of free stuff, a wonderful community. We're almost about 7,000 people on our Discord, and it's really, really amazing to see all of the stuff that you post in there. And yeah, so definitely that's our whole team just lives on Discord. But we do have other places you can follow us. So, you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook, but we're mostly on Discord. I also want to personally thank our incredible YouTube and Patreon members. Our members support our mission of making art education easily accessible, and YouTube members can chat with our instructors and see video drafts before they're released. Patreon members can level up their artwork with classes, Q&A, and live critiques. So let's get into it. And I'm really excited because I'm using a new tablet. I upgraded to a 24-inch XP pen Gen 2. And originally I thought, oh my goodness, this thing is huge. It's 24 inches, guys. But I was really surprised at how quickly I got used to it. So we'd like to thank our sponsor for this stream, XP Pen, who have an awesome selection of digital art tablets for both beginner and advanced artists. And if you're looking for an affordable and really reliable digital tablet, go browse their store, and you can find the link in the description of this video. All right. So Submissions, guys. Let's do our submissions because so many of you have just submitted some awesome stuff for January. We have a really, really cool theme for January. And if you haven't done our art challenges yet, I encourage you to join our Discord and and check out our challenge for this month. Oh, hey, Toaster, welcome in. One of our lovely students. Glad you could join us for this stream. Hey, Quinn. Nice to see you on here. Quinn can't chat, currently in the tattoo chair. It's great that we can be in multiple places at the same time. Isn't it awesome? All right, so tattoo art also works really well with the style that we're working in today. We're going to be working in silhouettes, traditional silhouettes, which actually translates really, really well to tattoo art. So this month's art challenge is juxtaposition. So as you can tell from some of the artwork, juxtaposition is one of those art themes that you will encounter if you go to art school. It's basically putting two things that don't really belong together, like opposites, together and creating contrast through imagery. And so we have some awesome submissions this month. And our first one, shout out to Mia D. So I just thought, like, I really like this artwork. It's so simple and it's very sweet. You know, this tiny little bird, this like organic little creature in front of this big robot. I love the contrast with just like the big geometric shapes and like the little organic pear-shaped birdie. I thought this was really nice and simple, and I love seeing traditional stuff on the server. Shout out to you, Mia. Great job. Second one, Ender, the art nerd. Ender, I have seen you post artwork every single day. Don't know if you're here, but shout out to you. I see all of your hard work pay off, and just the amount of art you do is incredible. So, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you are going to grow so quickly as an artist. And I just really think that this theme is very clear. You know, we often battle between our heart and our brain. They are definitely definitely opposites. And I think you captured this really, really well. Again, nice and simple and very clear concept. Okay, and our third submission is Yumi the Bread Wizard. Yumi, you get featured a lot because you do submit a lot, and I gotta say I really like your work. And let me just pull up the caption here. I believe you said something about you know, your process behind your piece and how you've been, you know, really working on it for a long time. And I really love just kind of learning a little bit about, you know, where your, you know, what your thought process is with all of this stuff. And so you said, this is a piece I did with your lovely partner, and you're going to list out the contrasting elements because you've been planning this for 2 weeks. That's really awesome. So the sun and the moon, the contrasting color, the light and dark, the gold and silver, and the energetic and calm. So wonderfully executed. Love the texture on the skirt, the fashion design, everything, all of it, and the lighting as well. So really, really nice work. Yumi, keep those submissions coming. We love to see it. All right, let's get into our drawing. Okay, so I painstakingly collected all these references, and I just want to show you, I was actually pretty surprised by the poll because I asked people, you know, what kind of style they wanted to see me do. So I was planning to do something like whimsical, illustrating all of the animals together in a story, but you guys wanted to see paper cutout silhouettes. You guys wanted to see the traditional stuff. So let's do it. 49%. You guys win. The people have voted. So traditional cutouts actually look like this. So if you're not familiar with the Chinese Zodiac, you know, I'm Chinese, so I grew up with this sort of, with all of these animals, memorizing them, like learning about the stories, and, you know, being exposed to the traditional art. So I am a rat. If you don't know your zodiac animal, you can find it by just Googling your year. And it's every 12 years. So there's 12 animals. And there's actually an interesting story as to why the rat is first, but I will save that for when I'm illustrating him. So yes, I am a rat, but there is a rat, an ox, a tiger, a rabbit, a dragon, which is so strange because the dragon is the only mythical creature in this zodiac. Like, all of these are real animals except the dragon. I mean, okay, perhaps it is a real animal. We just haven't seen one yet, but I just feel like if you are a dragon, you're like special, right? Like, you're the only mythical creature in this zodiac set. I just always found that to be really, really interesting. There's a snake, a horse, a goat. So sometimes they say goat. This actually looks like a ram. It's actually in Chinese. It's actually a sheep or a ram. Monkey, rooster, dog, and a pig. So this is the full set, guys, and this is kind of what the traditional paper cutouts will look like. So they're basically silhouettes with some patterns in them. All right, so I think I drew this little doodle on my pig layer, so I'm just gonna remove it. Let's see, yeah, there we go. Let's put myself back here. Okay, so for all of these references, let's start one at a time. So let's start with our rat. I'm just gonna turn everything off. All right. So, little rat. Okay. So the way I typically will draw animals, and sorry, this reference is like really, really small. But the way I like to draw animals is, you probably have heard me talk about the GSL method. It's the same method. Basically, it's, drawing in the movement, the gesture, and then analyzing the shapes and putting the shapes on top. So basically for this mouse, I would probably, draw. I really like the mouse standing because the mouse is very curious. It's a very curious creature, very resourceful creature. And I think that it has a lot of character when it's standing up because it actually, reinforces the personality traits that the rat is known for. And just so you know, I'm using like a textured brush. Let me just scroll up so you can see. So I'm using this textured brush here. It's not really well, my tablet is very pressure sensitive, so you can kind of see the texture of it. It's not perfect, and I kind of like that. So this is the gesture that I've put together, and then you can also like figure out, what is the action of the arms versus the legs, right? So you can do some loose sketches just to kind of figure out the motion or the rhythm. And then what I like to do is then draw out the shapes. So you can kind of see, on this mouse, there are different combinations of, okay, let me put this layer on top. There's different combinations of shapes. And usually what I like to do is I like to have the geometric shapes, like, the head is very triangular. And then the body has this type of square shape on it. So it's like a square, a triangle, and then kind of like a circle, and then another circle, right? So really looking for those shapes and really combining these shapes are what's going to get you to have a very dynamic silhouette. So just catching up with the chat here. Joanne's a horse. Horses are so majestic. My mom is a horse. Oh, fellow rat, hello. Toaster's a monkey. Okay, monkeys are supposed to be like very playful and smart. Tigers are courageous. My son's a tiger. My son is a tiger, born so he's a tiger and a Leo, which is a lion. So I always joke around and say I'm in trouble, and I'm a legit tiger mom, guys, because my son is a tiger. Pigs are actually really, really smart creatures as well. Like my partner's a pig. Yeah, if you're a dragon, like you definitely are special. Cause cause you're like the only creature that is not an actual animal, but a mythical creature. Okay, so this is kind of how I would combine those shapes. If you guys are working in silhouette, right, this is even easier to do, right? You just kind of work big to small. So here I'm drawing out the little legs. When I looked for these reference images, I really wanted to find images that are dynamic, right? That show the animal in the best possible way. Right? And like, I don't see the other ear of this rat, but I think it's okay to put it in, right? Even though you don't see something, that doesn't mean that you can't, as an artist, take creative license and put it in if you think that that's going to improve your piece, right? So part of the beauty of creating is using your artistic sensibility to make something your own, even though it's based off of reference. So I really like the roundness of the back, and then just kind of combining my shapes together. Okay, so this is the easiest way. This is kind of like the GSL method, right? And then with the tail, I wanted to add a little bit more of a curve to the tail. Rats kind of have thicker tails as well. So, give it a little bit of thickness here. And then I will color it in. So I'm just going to work on all the silhouettes for now, and then I will do all the patterns later. I haven't really decided what kind of pattern I want to do yet. My mom is a horse sounds like an insult. In this context, I guess if it's out of context, yes. Don't quote me out of context, please. But there's all sorts of like stories within the culture, like who's compatible, which animals are compatible with each other, which animals make the best friendships. Personally, I don't believe in all of that. I think it's fun, and I think it's like a good time to good excuse for storytelling. It's always fun at the dinner table, but yeah, personally I don't really believe in it. I'm not huge on astrology either. Again, I think it's really fun. I think it's a really great way to find a story, but personally I don't really believe it. Okay, so there's my mouse, and then the nice thing about starting off with shapes is that then you can refine them. So, maybe I don't want the nose to be so pointy, and maybe I want to add a little bit of whiskers. Again, you don't really see the whiskers, but I can kind of add it in here is negative space. Let's make it a little bit thicker. And then, so yeah, I am using Krita. I actually don't like the whiskers on this side, so I'm just going to make it. I think I'm just going to leave it because the whiskers are such a small detail that you probably won't even see it if it's at a reduced size. I can always add it in a little bit later. Hello, Lion Chin. I haven't seen you before. Welcome to the stream, and welcome in Milagro. I hope I said that correctly. Yeah, if you don't know your zodiac sign, definitely find out. It's a lot of fun because you get to learn a little bit about yourself, and it's always fun learning something new. Mr. Half said, honestly, horses are cool. Dragons are shown to take the form of them. So there may be more than one mythological creature. Well, technically, yeah, unicorns. Okay. You guys are teaching me a lot here in the chat. And Lunar New Year is coming up. I don't have anything planned, but usually my family will do like a big meal. And that's what we do. We eat. We'll probably make dumplings or something together and then have a big feast. Because if you know Chinese culture, everything is about food. Like everything. Sometimes like when I went to China to visit relatives, there were times where people wouldn't say hello. They would just say, "Did you eat yet?" And you're like, "Hello." But that's how much the culture is centered around food. All right, so we got our first animal. Let's move our mouse to a different. Let's see. I'm just gonna put all of these on their own layer. Whoops. It should be a rat, not a mouse. And funny story, the rat is actually the first in the zodiac. And a lot of people will sort of wonder why the rat is first, and I will explain it in just a second. So the rat, the rat ended up first because there was a race, like a competition between all of these animals. And supposedly the cat was too lazy, so it never made the cut. The mouse was determined to win. I keep saying mouse. The rat was determined to win. And it won because it made a deal with the ox. Let me bring up the ox here. So the rat made a deal with the ox. And it said, hey, let's work together to win this competition. And we're going to do that by you letting me ride on your back. And if you do that, everybody's going to say, oh my goodness, look at that ox. It's so friendly and it's helping out the rat. And so somehow it charmed its way into convincing this ox to let it ride on its back. And then as it got to the finish line, the ox was like, oh, I'm going to win because I'm the biggest, right? But then the rat climbed onto the ox's nose and then I don't even know if I'm telling this story exactly. I'm paraphrasing it, but anyway, people pointed at the rat and said, Oh my goodness, look at that huge rat. They didn't even notice the ox. All they noticed was the rat. And so that's how the rat won the competition. So it kind of charmed its way into first place. So the ox is, I think I have some lore here about the animals. In just a second, let me pull it up. The traits. So the rat is supposed to be quick-witted and adaptable, resourceful, and charming. The ox is diligent, dependable. Diligent, I should write these down. Diligent, dependable, strong, and determined. Also stubborn, I imagine. So yeah, rats are also known for their cunning. True. So for this ox, I'm gonna keep it mostly geometric, right? Trying to find both geometric and organic shapes, but you can kind of see that the ox is pretty bony at the top. Like most of these animals are bony at the top and like round at the bottom, right? So they're a little bit rounder, but like their hindquarters are still pretty square, right? So generally they're like a circle for the front of the animal. And usually I'll draw a circle for the back as well, but you can see that it's more of an angle here, right? So these are going to be based off of realistic proportions, and then we can have some fun with the design at the end. So when you're drawing the legs of the creature, you really want to pay attention to the negative space. So drawing the negative space, which is this in here, right, is just as important as the positive space. So if you can draw the negative space, that will really, really help you with the positive space. And you can see that I drew a line here, right, just to make sure that the legs are somewhat aligned. And then because this ox, you know, it's kind of standing not completely side profile, but it's kind of like 3/4 view. You can see that the legs in the front, right, versus the legs in the back make up this shape. So that's what the shadow shape would look like. Yeah, the dragon lost to the rat. I don't know if rats and oxen are known for disliking each other. That's a really interesting point. I don't really know. But yeah, the rat outsmarted everybody, including the dragon. I think the dragon was just maybe too proud and was like, I'm gonna win because like I'm the biggest, I'm the most magical, and it didn't. I imagine the tiger might have been taking a nap. Yeah, the rat won because of its charisma, and its resourcefulness and its charm. So rats are also known to have a lot of friends. Oh, by the way, my tablet comes with this like this little thingy here. It's like a wireless control. I haven't used it that much yet, but you can set it up. It's kind of like a tour box where, you know, it's like a separate remote control for the tablet, which is very, very cool. So that's what I accidentally hit, and it Control Z'd me. Okay, so if you see a shape that's like very complicated, like this negative shape is really, really complicated, right? Try not to like complicate it by, you know, doing this, because that's not very helpful. A lot of the times we complicate things, especially artists. So it's best to just kind of capture the motion first, or the gesture first, and then divide out the leg into the different sections, and then just keep the negative space very simple and very geometric. Okay. Then once you fill it in, you can always adjust, you know, so if I feel like I want to have this part of the ox hang down a little bit, I can still do that. And I'm going to sort of exaggerate the tail so it feels like, you know, there's more negative space in there and it doesn't get lost. So also you can see in the reference, everything here is kind of on the same line, right? There's a little bit of, I wouldn't exactly call it a tangent, but everything kind of lines up. And so it's not really showcasing the animal, the animal's face as well. So I might, you know, exaggerate the shapes a little bit more. Did I lose you in the leg bit? When I draw legs on animals, and especially when you're working in silhouette, a lot of beginners struggle with drawing legs because they try to draw all of the shapes that they see, and they try to complicate. They tend to complicate it, right? And so what I always recommend to my students is to look for the positive and negative shapes and simplify as much as possible. So that's kind of what I meant by the positive and negative shapes. Like, for example, this is a negative shape in here, right? Relatively speaking, it's square. I made mine a little bit more rectangular because I wanted more of a side profile. And it's important to find like where the legs are touching. So these four corners of the legs are really important. And then I kind of just sketch everything out in a geometric way, make sure that all of the joints are aligned. And yeah, then I would color everything in. So once you kind of have an idea of the silhouette, then I'm going to color everything in. I'm not using the paint bucket tool. I'm kind of disenchanted with the paint bucket tool. I thought it was great before, but I kind of like first of all, I like coloring stuff, even if it's digital. I think it's fun. And the paint bucket tool, you have to have really, really solid lines. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a mess. So I'll just usually use the biggest brush I can get away with. And then I like to draw and erase. I really like the process of drawing and erasing. Adding and removing. It just allows me to work things out in a more, I suppose in a clearer way. Right, so you can see that the ear is a little bit unclear here. So what happens if I do this, right? Then I feel like the ear is sticking out and not as clear, right? So there's two ways I can solve this. One is to use white. So let's say I now take the eraser tool and use the same brush, and then I can kind of, you know, draw out the shape of the ear, right, as a negative space or a negative shape like this. Right, maybe plan out how I want to use my positive and negative shapes. But I do like the imperfect look, especially with paper cutouts. Like, they look really nice as silhouettes, but up close you can really tell that there's a lot of imperfection, right? And that's kind of what makes it beautiful, is that added human touch, right? When you zoom up, when you zoom in, it's not perfectly smooth. It's got this perfect imperfection that I really love. And that's kind of what I'm going for. So just smoothing out the silhouette here. In Krita, I don't know if, let me know if you're a Krita user, but in Krita, what you can do is you can actually use the same brush as an eraser, which is really helpful because you can then just, you know, toggle the eraser to brush. And I find it very helpful. So I'm just pressing E and then it becomes an eraser. Hey, fellow Krita user. Hey, Jermina. I was debating whether to do this in Krita or to do this in Rebel, because I have Rebel and I really love the texture, but I think I chose Krita in this instance because it's just simpler. I'm not using any special brushes. I actually really like the brush, just the selection of brushes in Krita. I think it's pretty good for being free software. Shout out to the developers who make amazing tools, because I remember when I was first learning digital art, I had no choice but to use Photoshop, and it was like $600 to buy it. Right now it's subscription based, so I guess it seems a little bit affordable, even though it's not. Not really. But yeah, Krita is a really great alternative. I did also use MediBang for a while, but it's not as robust. It's definitely easier to learn, and we have a lot of MediBang videos on our channel. But yeah, Krita can be a little clunky. Like, the shortcuts don't really follow Photoshop, so it doesn't make a ton of sense sometimes. But you know, you can customize the shortcuts if you need to, and once you have it all set up and customized, it becomes a lot easier. Ooh, you're a monkey! You learned something new, Joe, about yourself. Monkeys are cool. It's funny because because I got a lot of pendants and a lot of stuff with rats on it, and I was like, so random. Why are you getting me a jade necklace with a rat on it, right? But then I understood why. So yeah, I have numerous like jade pendants with rats on them that I don't wear. Oh, interesting. There's an element depending on the year. You know what? I don't know the lore exactly. And like I usually I'm embarrassed to say this because it's part of my culture, but I usually see like the zodiac stuff on, you know, on those like disposable table placemats at like the Mandarin or like Chinese buffets. That's where I actually learned about it first, or like on the on a cereal box or something. Um, so yeah, don't quiz me on it. I actually don't really know. It's always fun to learn, but I don't really take it that seriously. Okay, so let's get rid of these arrows now. All right, so we got our ox. Now, what is next? We got our rat, we got our ox. Next in the Chinese Zodiac is the tiger. So the tiger is known for being brave, competitive, unpredictable, and confident, and also very courageous. You know, I guess it is a cat, right? So the fact that there's no actual cat in the Chinese Zodiac, but there is a tiger, that's good enough. Oh, funny, I put cat. Okay, so this one's probably the hardest one to illustrate, because tigers typically have faces that look like this. They're like a hexagon shape. So cats and tigers have faces that are more hexagon in nature, and Chinese tigers always have this symbol on their forehead. This actually means king in Chinese. It's pronounced Wang, and if you know anybody with the last name Wang, that's that's it right there. It actually means king. And so that's why tigers are the king of the animal kingdom. Yeah, it is strange that pandas are not in the zodiac. They're so popular, right? It is funny. Okay, so this tiger, let's get in the gesture of the tiger first, right? The rhythm of the tiger, the rhythm of the legs, right? I'm just kind of putting in the gesture here. And then the shapes that I see. So it's kind of got a more of an angle on its back, and then the head shape. If I start it off as a circle, then what I need to do is find the angle and then make it more geometric. Okay, so I got to work a little bit faster now because got a lot to go through. Big paws on the tiger as well. Really, really big paws. And this is a tiger with its winter coat, so it's kind of got like the legs and the like everything is just a little bit thicker, right? Than usual. And so I made my tiger a little bit long. So I'm going to adjust. And like the tail has to have just the right amount of curve. If it's too curved, it looks like a monkey tail. So yeah, tiger, king of the jungle. In Chinese, they say it's like king of the animals. Just because there's not a lot of jungle in China, I think they say it's the king of all the animals. But yeah, I think in Western culture, it's more known as the king of the jungle. But it's funny because it actually has king written on its forehead, right? So I gotta make sure that I put that in the white negative space. So even though these silhouettes are going to be pretty, like pretty simple in the end, they can start out rough. Just want to make sure that I get the paws nice and big. Anybody else here celebrating the Lunar New Year? If you are, I'm interested to know what you guys do. If it's just food, family. My family has plans to make dumplings. And I'm actually a pretty good dumpling maker, I gotta say. Like, when I was a kid, my mom taught me how to make dumplings. And I got really good at making them. She convinced me to, she kind of tricked me into helping her in the kitchen a lot. And I'm actually really grateful for that because I can make a decent dumpling. And I'm pretty fast at it. So, I mean, I don't do it a lot, but I do really enjoy kind of sitting down and making traditional dumplings with family. You usually have hot pot, Joanne? That sounds nice. And it's not just like one day of eating, guys. It's like a whole 10 days or like 12 days of eating. It's just non-stop eating. I mean, I'm not complaining. I think that's pretty fun. But my stomach is grumbling now. It's like, what? Eating? Hungry now. Hey, you know what? If you're looking to just cook some Chinese food, the easiest hack for Chinese food is fried rice. But the trick to making fried rice is you have to use like cold rice. Like you can't use fresh out of the pot rice. You gotta refrigerate it overnight. Because traditionally it was made with leftover rice. So if you actually try to fry rice that's like freshly cooked, it's just gonna be mushy. So you have to refrigerate it before you cook it. That's the trick for you. And a really nice recipe that I recently tried for fried rice is celery, ginger, and egg. Just celery, ginger, and egg. I think you can put some onion in there too, but it's delicious. So you fry up your egg, and then you put your celery and ginger in there, and then you fry up your rice, and then you add some salt. And it's like the easiest thing. Funny enough, there are some parts of China that don't eat rice. In 2019, I did an art residency in China, and I learned that there are parts of China where they don't eat rice. And I was like, what? Yeah, they eat naan noodles. So rice is typically more of southern China, whereas like in northern China, it's more wheat stuff. But I love rice. Like if I go without rice for a couple days, I start to crave it. Okay. So here's the tiger. I think what I'm gonna do is just put in the symbol there, and then I really like the idea of using positive and negative shapes, right? To put in some of these, like to even sort of break out of the traditional silhouette. So I'm going to try this. Maybe I won't like it and I won't end up keeping it, but we'll see. I wasn't sure what type of pattern I wanted to do. Like I wasn't sure if I wanted to do floral, like the traditional kind of like floral patterns, but I feel like a tiger without stripes is kind of weird. So and then the trick to figuring out which leg is in front and which leg is behind, you just need a little bit of an overlapping line. All right. I'm also not going to add too much white here because I don't want it to, I want, like stylistically, I want all of my animals to feel similar. So I feel like I kind of have to work on some of these things together at the end once I kind of finish the silhouette. All right, so here is the tiger for now. I mean, there are obviously more stripes than this, but I feel like if I do too much, it's gonna be, might be a little bit too literal. Okay, so here's my tiger. I hope you guys are also drawing along with me. I think it's pretty cool to be able to, you know, draw live with you all. All right, what is next? Bunny, the rabbit. Here we go. The rabbit. So it was so unbelievably hard to find a rabbit reference that I liked. I think this took me the longest. Believe it or not. Yeah, it took me so long to find this little cute little guy. Because I wanted to find like a rabbit that was standing, but also had, you know, you could see its tail. But it looked alert, you know, it wasn't just kind of like lying down. Again, I wanted to find animals that felt like I wanted to portray each animal with more personality instead of just like the default. Feel like I can have some fun with the ears and sort of exaggerating the rest of the silhouette. Okay. How did the rabbit beat the others? I don't know. It hopped. It's kind of low key, maybe. Like it wasn't, you know, a show off like the dragon was. And I'm not sure actually. I think I watched the lore when I was a kid. And I can't remember exactly. And it's told in so many different ways, so I don't know if anyone if anybody actually knows it better, but feel free to let me know. Maybe it won by a hair. Very punny. Appreciate the puns. So you can see when you color it in, there are like these little gaps. When you color it in manually, right, there's these like little gaps that are kind of nice looking, that feel very dynamic. But yeah, the bunny is very cute. My dog is scratching at the door. Just a minute, let me let her in. Okay, well, this was an easy one. This one was definitely easier than the tiger. The tiger took a lot of time. Okay. Rabbit. What's after the rabbit? I did put these in order. Oh, here was the other rabbit I sourced, but I like the other one better. The dragon is next. Where's my dragon? This guy. So I decided to take a dramatic kind of Chinese dragon. It just felt kind of appropriate. Last year was the year of the dragon, 2024. So if you are a dragon, you are either 12, 13, or turning 25, or 24, or 36, because they're increments of 12, right? Okay, so for this dragon, the gesture is super important, and you can kind of change, you know, you can change the gesture of the dragon however you like. So if I wanted to make it more vertical, I can do that. Basically, I do want it to be visually different than the snake, but they have very similar shapes. So that kind of looks like a snake. Let's bring this. Let's bring this down like this. Maybe like that. Yeah, or you're a baby. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Chinese dragons, they have this kind of teardrop shape head like this. And then like their snout is very, it's kind of like almost like this shape. And then it's got this type of curvy mouth opening. So it almost looks like a beak at the top. Right, so the silhouette is going to be very, very important here. It's got like a disproportionately big head to the body, and the body is snake-like. So this one's going to take a bit of time because it's very complex. And then it's kind of got talons like a chicken. Or a big bird. So dinosaurs are very closer to birds than they are to lizards, and they also have, you know, this type of claw. And so it's got one leg here. This one, it attaches here and it goes this way and kind of going down. There's clouds in this dragon illustration here, which is why you can't really see, or this dragon sculpture. So you can't really see the legs or the feet. So you gotta kind of make it up. So let's get this filled in. So if I don't press really hard, I get this like nice texture throughout. Yeah, it does kind of look like a lion with an alligator snout. How would you recommend selling your work? That's a good question, Fun Boy. There's so many different ways you can sell your work. It really depends on the type of work. We actually have a series of videos about how to get commissions. But I think the most important step is really knowing what type of commissions you want to get, right? Because it's easier to sell a specialty, right? To say, like, for example, I specialize in animal art versus I can draw anything, right? Like for me personally, I specialize in portraiture. That doesn't mean that I only do portraiture. Like I do a lot of portrait commissions because I specialize in figure drawing. I'm very good at drawing people. But that doesn't, you know, I do other types of commissions, but it's good to know kind of what you would be best at, right? Not try to do everything and get overwhelmed. So the first thing is to figure out, you know, what you want to specialize in. before you think about the rest. And then what you want to specialize in will dictate sort of where you sell your work, right? Whether it's like an online marketplace for, you know, characters like Art Den, one of our partners. They have like a digital app and they specialize in character art, right? Like digital character art, which a lot of our audience relates to. So it really depends. If you're doing portraiture, you probably won't be on there. So again, it depends. Cartoon greeting cards. If you're doing cartoon greeting cards, then like, you know, you could probably start a little Etsy store, start promoting yourself that way. I used to have a lot of my art on Etsy and then I don't anymore. I kind of took it off because I wanted to focus on teaching. I realized that that's what I do best and I have a limited amount of time, right? So my priority is helping other people excel at their art, find success with their art. But I've done a lot of shows, exhibitions, residencies in different countries, got to try out a lot of different things, had a career as a designer and art director. But wing canvas is my priority now. So also you don't want to do too many things. Okay. I think that the lasso tool would probably be better than the brush at some of these designs. So I'm just going to try that out instead. It just allows me to kind of outline stuff quickly and fill it in. That change of direction. It's kind of fun to see all these like little marching ants. And if I make my brush really big, I might not have to press so hard and I can still get some of this awesome texture. Okay. So my dragon's got a really big head. Like, so big. And I gotta make sure that I get the other legs in before I run out of time. So let's see here. Yeah, like these traditional Chinese dragons have like really, really small chicken feet. Chicken feet. Like their bodies are really threatening, but they're supposed to be more majestic creatures. I think in Western culture, dragons are more threatening, but in Eastern culture, they're like a really lucky symbol. And they're supposed to be more majestic and kind of like less threatening, right? Which is why they have these like little chicken feet. they're not really supposed to be a scary creature per se, but more like if you saw a dragon, you would be like, oh wow, I'm very lucky. I saw a dragon today. It must be a good sign. I should buy the lottery. So I think using the lasso tool gives me just a little bit of a faster workflow here. Just kind of allows me to fill in some of these gaps. Yeah, dragons are just beautiful, beautiful creatures. And I really do like the uniqueness of them being in the Zodiac. And yeah, no fish in the Zodiac either. I think it was a land race. Not exactly a under the sea type of race. But I do think there were also a lot of animals that were in the race that didn't make it. That didn't make the 12 spots. Okay, so I think I want to make the belly a little bit bigger. Maybe a flying fish, maybe. Okay. Now I'm going to take my eraser tool and just kind of give it a bit of an eye, and I should give it teeth as well. I need to do this with the lasso tool. I'm not using different brushes, like I'm using one brush just to kind of simplify and to keep it consistent. But then it limits how sharp things are, so that's why I am also using the lasso tool. Okay. Don't forget the fourth leg. Yes, thank you for the reminder. I did forget about it. So the fourth leg, I'll put it behind here somewhere. Let's see. It should technically line up, so it would probably go either behind or in front. Let's put it here. Whoops. And then just taking my white and putting a little bit of, I think I need to put a little bit of detail here. Otherwise, the head just feels so enormous. I feel like it needs a little bit of some patterns or just a little bit of suggestion. Okay. Okay. So if I have time, I will keep going, but I feel like I gotta move on in the interest of time. So this year is actually the year of the snake. So let's find my snake here. I chose this snake because it's very different than the dragon shape. And I liked the sort of curiosity. I wanted to find a snake that wasn't so threatening looking, because when we think about snakes, we think about like that they're really scary, at least in the Western sense. Snakes are scary. But in Eastern cultures, snakes are very intelligent and wise creatures, and they have a lot of respect. They get a lot of respect, right? So I might do something like this. A lot of the snakes that I found were like cobras. But yeah, I have a friend who's a pet snake, and back when we were an in-person studio, we used to have summer camps where we would bring in different animals to observe and to draw. And the snakes were always really popular. I had a friend who was in the unit next door, and he had 16 snakes. So I traded him a commission. I did a drawing of one of his snakes that he gave as a gift to his girlfriend. And he brought in his snakes to our school for a visit. So that was really fun. And I got to put it around my neck. A lot of the kids were really freaked out. You know, you're either like really scared of snakes or you really love them. I find that there's like not really an in-between. Some people are very disgusted by snakes, but I personally find them fascinating. I mean, if you don't bother it, it's not like it's going to bite you or hurt you. Let me know if you are afraid of snakes. I love snakes. I wouldn't say I love snakes. I definitely wouldn't say I love them. But I do think they're very interesting. And I think that the snake is, well, it's known to be intelligent and very wise. And also generous. I read that somewhere, that they're supposed to be generous. Let's see the traits of snakes. They are mysterious. So snakes are considered to be mysterious and wise. They tend to keep things to themselves. If there's any snakes out there, any snakes in the chat, let me know if this sounds like you. They tend to keep to themselves. They tend not to be huge talkers. Like, I think like rats would be kind of talkative, whereas snakes probably a little bit less so. They are known for being deep thinkers who can solve problems well. They're good at talking to people. They're good communicators, even though they may not be super extroverted. But I think there's a really cool opportunity to have snakes as like just the negative space that you can, or the negative shapes that you can get with a snake is really, really nice. Your mom is a snake and she's a chatty extrovert. Okay, see, that's why I don't believe in this stuff. It's so generalized. Yeah. Exactly. My aunt's a snake and she's like the best negotiator. She can always get me like the best deal at any store by just negotiate. Like, she's amazing at it. Unlike me. Usually I'm like, I just want to buy it and get out of there. Okay, so in terms of the pattern, like I said, I'm probably going to just leave it a silhouette for now. I might put in the eye, just because like the eye is a really good indicator of the perspective as well, right? Because like if the mouth is here and then the tongue can have a little bit of that negative space going into the mouth, it just makes it a little bit more, gives it a little bit more dimension. And again, like, it's up to you whether you want to put in this positive and negative space to just sort of show that the snake is in front here. Like, what's in front, what's behind. I might just show a little bit. Okay. There's my snake. Okay, so we made it through the first row. Now we get to draw a horse. Love the four-legged animals. They're always hard. Like, horses, I hear, are one of the hardest creatures to draw. So let's do some analysis here with shapes. The horse, you know, the body is always like the biggest shape, right? So let me rename this. So usually the way I like to draw horses is, you know, just like dividing out the body into two circles and then connecting them. And then, you know, same thing for the head. Sometimes I'll draw them as two circles, but this horse, the face or the snout is a lot more chiseled. It's kind of like more squarish. But like if you're drawing a pony or if you're drawing like a horse that is a little bit younger, or maybe just like a pygmy type of horse, or you want it to be a little bit cuter, right? Then you can make the snout a little bit rounder. It's up to you. So once you have that body drawn out, then you can, you know, find where you want to make things more geometric versus more organic looking. And then you want to find the negative space. So I can kind of see that the leg sort of aligns with the neck here, right? And then the shape, like right here and right here, right, are relatively the same. So if I find the torso of the horse, I might make the torso a little bit bigger, a little bit rounder here, right? Then I would just kind of take that shape and make sure that my legs or the legs of the horse are the same length or share that negative space, right? Because this is the beauty of silhouettes, is that you can just work with shapes and not get too confused with other things, right? Make sure that they're all kind of along the same plane here. You can see I'm just drawing in the legs as very, very simple sticks. And then really, if you just look at the negative space, just draw out the negative space. And it should be pretty simple to do. If you just focus on simplifying instead of complicating it for yourself. Like, don't even worry about the knobby knees, you know. Don't worry about the anatomy so much. Just focus on positive and negative space, positive and negative shapes. Space is one of those, is the element of design, or sorry, it's the element of art. Space is the element of art that is the most often forgotten element. Like, we don't give space really enough credit. You really, really need to consider space when you are designing anything, right? Because your negative space really, really helps you in terms of getting an accurate silhouette, accurate design and shapes. So I don't think it gets enough credit. You know, everybody focuses on like line. I think line is the first, because that's how everybody starts to draw, is with line, right? Nobody's like, oh, I'm going to draw with space, because space is really the stuff that's not drawn. Except I draw it. Yeah, the 16 personality types. I love the Myers-Briggs personality profiles. That is actually, I find, scary accurate. Like, it's yeah, it is scary. But it is fun to kind of explore the other areas of where you can learn a little bit about yourself, like the Zodiac. I really like just playing with the pen pressure here, because I can, you know, get really thick or really thin lines by just putting pressure on my brush, which is really fun. Again, this is a new tablet. I used to have the 15.6 Artist Pro, and again, like, I thought, oh my gosh, this tablet is so big, but I really quickly got used to it. I really like this tablet that I'm using, because I have two pens. It comes with two pens, and it comes with this nifty little device like this that can help me program shortcuts in it. It's kind of like a built-in tour box. If you guys know, the tour box is a nifty little gadget. I think Iggy uses one. I think Jesse also made a video on it. Really, really good at improving your workflow. But yeah, loving this new tablet. I'm trying out the skinnier pen. It comes with two pens, like a thicker pen, which I was actually used to, and then a thinner pen. I think the thinner pen is more like an Apple pen. Yeah, so there you go. There's the horse. I think I made the legs a little bit skinny, but I kind of like that. I kind of like how it looks, so I think I'm going to leave it. And let's move on to the next animal, the ram. Oh, Joe, thank you so much for the donation. That is very generous of you. Thank you very much. It's because of people like you that we can keep our channel growing. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so we got two animals that look very similar. The ram and the horse are very similar. At least the legs are really similar. So it's good practice. We can definitely do this in the same method as we did the horse, but it's facing a slightly different direction. So it is really good practice. All right. So, and it's like snowing these really beautiful big snowflakes out there right now. And I'm like really loving how nice and warm it is inside, but looking forward to going out there and enjoying the ice. I just signed up for it turns out my entire hockey team is in the same, signed up for like the same classes by the city. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sign up. I'm like super excited to actually be able to practice with them. But yeah, if you live in, like, I live in Canada, it's fairly cold. But, and like, you know, you got to make the best of it, right? So if you enjoy winter sports, even if you don't enjoy winter sports, I think it's a really good way to enjoy the winter. So I know you always say to keep your stick on the ice. I'm very bad at that, Joe. I'm always like tripping people by accident because I just learned and I'm like trying to extend my reach and then I forget to keep my stick on the ice. All right, let's get this colored in. So with the horse, I kind of did it slowly. With this ram, I'm kind of going a little bit more crazy, a little bit more sort of loose. Because I'm warmed up and I feel like I can be a little bit looser. Snow is rare where you live. Aw. Well, that's okay. At least it doesn't get all gray and slushy. Like, snow is really beautiful when you don't touch it. And then as soon as, like, there's traffic and snow, it just becomes this gray sludge. That's pretty awful. But I'm out of the big city now, so it's nice and I still get to enjoy the pristine snow. All right. So since you can't really see the head of this ram, what is really going to sell the animal type is the horns, right? So I'm going to put a little bit more time into that, just making sure that I get the shape of the legs right. You can see, like, you really don't need a lot of knowledge and anatomy necessarily when you're starting out. Really what you need is just a good, keen sense of space. negative and positive space. Again, thinking about your shapes. It's pure chaos when it snows there. Whereabouts are you based? Because where it doesn't snow a lot, yeah, people get really weird when like we get weird weather. The snow is a bit of a hassle for sure because you have to like get your winter tires on and take them off in the spring, and yeah, it gets expensive when you have to have 2 sets of tires, you know. And then you got to prepare for stuff, and it takes like 10 minutes to get out the door because you got to clean. You got to clean the car, let it warm up. I'm sure many of you feel my pain, but I'm just used to it now, you know. Got a snowblower, so I recently operated a snowblower for the first time, and I was like, why did I not get one sooner? It's so easy, like you don't even have to push. It just kind of pushes on its own. I'm kind of changing the direction of the horns here, and I'm not sure if I like it, like if I want to follow the direction of the horns in the reference picture. Not sure. I'll try it because I don't really like what it's doing now. Again, a lot of this is really experimentation, so I think working in silhouette, actually it was a blessing in disguise, guys. I think it's a really good way to learn if you're just starting out to draw in silhouettes and practice in silhouettes. A lot easier than if you're just like trying to render, right? Especially with 12 animals. With 12 animals, you're really just focusing on analyzing the shapes, you know, distilling what you want from the reference. And not getting too complicated. I really like the texture of this brush now. Like, I'm getting used to it more, I think, and it's kind of nice because, like, at a certain size, like at this size, you can really start to see the texture. And it's kind of starting to behave in the way I want it to, whereas in the beginning, I'm just, like, trying to get used to it. Central South Carolina. Oh, cool. I don't think I've ever been to South Carolina. I've been to North Carolina. But definitely planning a road trip in the near future. I'm going to visit all the states. I did used to live in sunny California, in LA specifically. That's where I went to school. And I got really used to not having a winter. But then it, like, you don't really feel the time go by. I found that, like, I can't even remember, I can't remember the years because there weren't seasons to go along with it, you know? So it was just like one big long summer. Not complaining. I generally try to make the best of wherever I go, but it's just something that I noticed. Okay, let's see here. The RAM. I don't think I talked about the traits of the RAM yet. So the traits of the RAM. They are accomplished, often highly accomplished in the arts. They are gentle, calm, and decent. Decent. They are compassionate, wise, and gentle. And they are often religious. Huh, that's interesting. They are timid by nature. They can be naive and emotional. They are clever and good at covering up their weaknesses. They are sensitive and often indulge in sentimental illusions. They are talented at pestering, and they are effective at persuading others to do them favors. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. The ram, I feel like I should give it a tail, but I don't think it needs it. I can't even remember what it looks like. Can't even remember what a ram tail looks like. Let's see. It's like really small. Yeah, it's kind of like a nub, so I think I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. Didn't do the eyes, but let's put those in now. I'm just using negative shapes here, so I'm like using my eraser tool to erase out the eyes. Okay. Traits of RAM can be bigger than 16 gigs. You guys are so punny. I get a good laugh. The one thing that I am going to do is I'm just going to extend these lines to help really define what leg is in front and what's behind, right? So if you just kind of use your shapes here, like use your line or your negative space, because here you're not really putting in a lot of lines per se, they're more shapes, right? So if you can just kind of add these little clues, like these little clues, it will help you a lot when it comes to defining like what's in front and what's behind. Okay. I did not get his knobby knees in here. But again, these are extra details that I don't really think we need. All right, next is a monkey. So this was the best pose that I could find. I looked far and wide, and for some reason, I just couldn't find a pose that I really liked. So this was the one that I settled on. I think that it's fun, and I like the gesture of it, right? And it is from a traditional Chinese painting, so I thought this would be the best reference because I like the pose. So again, the monkey is very lively. I'm going to change the direction of the tail. We'll see. For now, I'm just going to use the gesture that's currently here, and then I can decide if I want to change it up. And I wanted to give this monkey more of a body instead of having it like right up against each other. And I don't know if you guys know of the Monkey King. There's like a Monkey King lore in it's like a very famous Chinese story about the Monkey King. It has this golden baton, and it's like a shapeshifter, and it does all these tricks, and it's like on this endless quest with a monk, a pig. Can't remember what the other character is now, but I loved the Monkey King as a child. Yeah, Sun Wukong, exactly. Sun Wukong. I think there was like a remake or like some kind of show on Disney Plus that is based on the Monkey King. I can't remember the name of the show. But yeah, it's like one of those stories that is going to be told over and over again. The Lego one? No, not the Lego one. No. I haven't seen the Lego one. And no, it's a live action. It's kind of like a high school drama of this kid who is kind of like a misfit and he's having trouble fitting in, and then he meets this guy who's actually the Monkey King or the Monkey King's son or something. I can't remember. I watched one episode. Oh, I've never played the game, the Black Myth Wukong. I've never heard it. But okay, so let's get a smaller brush here and get those fingers in. So the funny thing about monkeys, they're very much like people, except they've got these super long fingers, and the fingers on their legs look like hands. Like their feet look like hands. That's the one thing that I really remember about monkeys. Are their feet look like hands? This monkey looks very angry. I didn't mean for it to be angry. Let's try a different face. I feel like if I put a face on it, it starts to look more human. Let me see what else I could probably do. Like monkeys kind of have this type of like this type of face shape. So if I make this white, and then bring the eyes back, maybe that will look a little less scary. So yeah, I think this was the most dynamic monkey I could find, and I do still like the pose. All right. And you can see, like when I zoom in, you can really see the brush, right, is very painterly, and I really like that. Like I like how it's not super digital feeling. I think that was my issue with digital art in the beginning. Like I'm more of a traditional artist. I would have loved to do this in watercolor. You know, to do like these silhouettes. I've been meaning to try out like Chinese watercolor for a long time. I got a Chinese watercolor set and got it all ready. I bought some fans and stuff that I could, like paper fans that I could actually use, but never ended up trying it. So maybe one of these days I will try it out. All right. Monkey done. Monkey. Okay, hold on. Traits of the monkey. We didn't do this yet. I was gonna say they are intelligent, creative, social, ambitious, family-oriented, adventurous, unpredictable, and overconfident. Toaster, are you still there? Are you these things? Let me know if this is true. Any monkeys out there? I can't remember what follows the monkey. Rooster. Okay, the rooster is going to be a fairly easy one to do, I think. It's got, you know, pretty recognizable shapes. So it shouldn't take too long. Let's rename this. Uh-oh, how do I rename this? Okay. I wonder if roosters are all early risers. Because that's certainly not me. Roosters are hardworking, confident, and reliable. Yes, they are reliable because they wake you up every morning at the same time. You are not those things. Oh, Mariposa, are you a rooster? Yeah, that's yeah. I think a little bit has to do also with like which year you were born. I think there's like some intricacies that I'm not really covering well. But I like how this rooster is standing on one foot, like it's actually right. It's standing on one foot. And I think that's kind of why I chose this one specifically. I like the pose of it. It's very subtle, but I really do like the pose. And for the tail, I think I'm gonna go back and use the lasso tool, just because, you know, I can still erase when I'm done, but it's just like a it's just like a quick way for me to get the shapes in that I want. And then I can use like a really big brush. And it's a good way to get started. We've kind of done a bunch of roosters on the channel. I know Josh did a rooster animation stream where he did like a rooster character with that, like the head on fire. I thought that was really neat character. If you haven't seen it, it's one of his animation streams. Josh is actually going to be streaming tomorrow as well. He's going to be doing a master animation stream, so definitely check that out tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time if you're interested in animation. And Josh does like the good stuff, like the traditional animation. You can see him doing it live. You can see, you know, all the things that are the common struggles, right? And it's really helpful to watch him work. And, you know, you'll understand that the process is not always perfect. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And I don't have the patience for animation. I wish I did. I really, really do. But I tried it. It was fun. I did one of those like bouncing ball animations. And took me like an entire day to do. And I think I'm just too impatient. I'm definitely more of a one and done kind of illustration type of person. I'm way too impatient for animation, but I really, really appreciate those who have the chops and the patience to do it. Okay, so there's my rooster. Little messy guy, but I like the silhouette. I like how the feathers are kind of more dynamic. And all right. So are we almost done here? How many did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my goodness, we have 3 more. I'm running out of time. Oh, sorry, Joe. Looks like we're running a little bit behind here. I'll try to go as fast as I can, though. The spicy chicken. Yeah. Okay. Here's the dog. Traits of the dog. I blame the dragon. The dragon took way too long. The dragon and the tiger took way too long. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I spent like 15 minutes trying to find the perfect dog, and I looked through like all my own pictures of dogs, and I couldn't find the perfect dog. And Shih Tzus are actually the like a Chinese dog, so I figured, okay, I'm going to draw in the dog. Yeah, for like a good juxtaposition piece, you could always just take 2 animals that are opposites, like a snake and a mouse and a rat that you've drawn with me on stream, mash them up together and submit your artwork. Right? So this is a cute little doggy Shih Tzu. I've got a Shih Tzu myself. Her name's Pongo. She has modeled for lots of kids at our old studio, at our in-person studio. And yeah, she's a really good dog. I think she's kind of half Shih Tzu and half Pekingese, because she's kind of got a face of a Pekingese. I'm going to change the ears. But I could not really find a good image of a dog standing like this. And I think it's really important to be able to find like a good image that is dynamic, right? That you can work with. So dogs, you know, these types of dogs generally have pretty round faces and small ears. Right. You know what's funny? I'll tell you a story about my dog Pongo. So Pongo in I think I got the name from 101 Dalmatians. I think there was a dog named Pongo. And I've always really liked that movie. And the reason I named my dog Pongo is because Go is dog in Chinese. Go. And Pong means fat. So Pongo in Chinese means fat dog. I was like, that's a perfect name. My dog's not necessarily fat. She's perfect. She's like very muscular, you know, like she's hefty. If you pick her up, she's not, you know, those fluffy dogs, you pick them up and they're like super light. She is a hefty girl. You pick her up and it's like, wow, she's got some weight on her, but she's not fat. She's actually perfect. She's getting old though. Okay, so this actually looks a lot like her in silhouette. And I find like my animals are getting messier and messier as I run out of time. they're getting a little looser as I go. But I feel like I need to give this dog a face. But the traits of the dogs are loyal, they're caring, they're honest. I think loyalty is what they are known for the most. They're compassionate, they're observant, and cautious and stubborn and caring. Any dogs out there in the chat? Let's see. This dog kind of looks like a what the Chinese call like a Chinese lion dog. If you've ever seen those like Chinese stone lions, they kind of have the face of a dog and it's like this Shih Tzu face. So again, I'm going to make a little bit of an effort to define which leg is in front and which leg is behind using negative space. Just a little bit does the trick, you know. And because this type of dog is extra hairy, it's nice to just kind of leave the legs a little bit shaggy. Oh my gosh, Crumble and Cookie. That's a great name for a pair. That's really cute, actually. I had 2 dogs, Pongo and Sadie. Sadie sadly passed away in 2019, and Pongo's been kind of lonely ever since. And she's like become extremely lazy because I had a big dog and Pongo's a little dog, right? And my big dog would want to go out all the time. Whereas my little dog now, she just kind of stays at home and doesn't really do a whole lot. She just sleeps all day. Okay, last but not least, pig. The pig. All right, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Woohoo! We are on our 12th animal. I think I might have to do a little bit of a cleanup at the end just to like resize everything. But at least we're almost through. Almost there. Okay, so the pig has really nice curves, really nice nice curves here. Probably I might exaggerate the just the belly of the pig, but I like how its snout is kind of pointing up, and pigs are fairly round, right? They're like pretty round in general, but I think it's always nice to find some parts of the animal that is a little bit more chiseled. Like most animals are not, unless you're drawing like a jellyfish or something, they have both angles and curves, and that's what makes them really dynamic, right? If your animal just if you illustrate your animal with just angles or just curves, it may not look as dynamic or as balanced. And the same thing goes for people. Like I find if you are drawing people, right, it's really a good idea to make sure that they, like the people have same thing, like that you're drawing, generally speaking, like if you're drawing a person, males have more of the straighter angles, and females have more of like the gentler curves. Again, these are just very general. So you can use it for distinguishing gender. You can also use it for like parts of the body. So for example, when you're drawing people, typically speaking, the areas that have the most angles are the parts that are bony. So like elbows, knees, joints, and etc. Whereas if you are drawing like the thigh or the stomach, those typically have less and they have more curves, right? So those are really helpful because they can really take your drawing from like okay to really good, to really exceptional, with just like a little bit of variation in the shapes and the lines. We haven't done an animal stream in a long time. Like the last animal stream that we did was the one where Jesse turned the animals into characters. That was quite unexpected and a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on this snout because the pigs have a bit of a snout that also has an angle to it. And something that's really, really interesting, I didn't know that pigs are so, like, they're really, really smart creatures. I've always kind of thought of them as just, as kind of dirty, right? And kind of like lazy, but they're not. They're actually very, very they're super, super smart. And their traits in the Zodiac, they're caring, considerate. They treat others very well. Again, my partner's a pig. So they're hardworking, very, very hardworking, which is kind of contradictory because when I think about pigs, I don't really think that they're hardworking animals. I think that they sleep all day and eat and stuff, but they are known to be very social creatures, very open-minded and loyal, but also a little bit reckless, impatient, a little bit naive. So, any pigs out there, does this sound like you? Okay. I do kind of like this silhouette. It's nice and simple. And in terms of getting the negative space, right? You can extend some stuff. Like, for example, the ear of a pig is a little bit more square at the bottom, which is kind of neat. Like, you can go in and add some more shapes in there. I haven't really decided a lot of the negative shapes yet, but just putting in like the stuff that I think are the most important. This pig looks kind of proud. And then again, a little bit of negative space, negative shapes to define the legs, like what's in front and what's behind. So there's my little piggy. Okay. What does the Chinese Zodiac say about rabbits? I don't know. Let me ask the internet. Calm, peaceful, intelligent. That's the summary anyway. Okay, so let's look at all the animals together. Let's see. They're all probably like different sizes and all over the place. But let's see here. All my animals. No, I have to clean stuff up. Okay. So, just to consult the order here. We have our mouse, or sorry, our rat. And then the next one is the ox. My dragon is huge. No wonder it took forever. It's huge. Look at it. Okay, so I got the rat, the ox, the tiger. the rabbit. So my rabbit's a little bit big. Let's make it smaller so it's... Whoops. Rabbit, and then the dragon. So there's 12. So what I might do is 3 rows of 4. I think this belongs to the ox. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so my dragon. Dragon goes there. Monkey. Dragon, and then snake. I gotta move my pig. My pig's huge as well. Okay. I got my snake. And then what's after the snake? The horse. And then the ram. So I need to do a lot of adjusting here because my snake is a little bit bigger than the rest of the animals. And then I might do a couple things where like I change the direction of them because, for example, the snake and the dragon are kind of facing the same direction. And typically in a composition, like if I select the dragon here, I might transform the dragon so that it's going in the opposite direction. So it's kind of facing the snake. And that therefore leading your eye better, right? There we go. And the horse. The horse is the only one like with a shadow. And I think I need to remove it just so that it's consistent. But this is the part where you get to like put them all together and see how they all work together. Okay, my monkey is very small. And in this case, you know, I would also make the monkey kind of going the other way. Whoops. So I'm just right-clicking and going mirror horizontal and then transforming it. Okay, and then the rooster. Rooster. Then dog. And then my pig. My pig looks huge. And I think I need to rotate my pig as well. There we go. Now they're all like facing each other. Okay, let's see here. So that's the nice thing about digital is you can like move stuff, transform stuff. Compositionally, I always think it's better when the animals in a composition or like the creatures in a composition. I guess I could say elements. Like the elements in the composition are all sort of pointing towards each other. Right? It just keeps the eye inside the composition a little bit better. I'm going to make the ox bigger. And the horse, I got to get rid of the horse's, whoops, shadow. I like it, but it doesn't really go with the rest of the design. So looking at them all together, thanks, Joe. Looking at them all together, I think that it's like, yeah, like I like the style. I mean, I can see how it's kind of evolved from the rat, right? And sometimes it does that, right? So there are some things that I would probably do to, let's crop this first, to kind of keep things consistent, right? So for example, the rat the rat doesn't have the eye, and I think that it should, right? So all the other creatures have the eye. I think the horse doesn't, but I can go in and add those later, just like some little touches to make sure that they all kind of belong together, right? That they're all sort of similar in nature, right? And give it a little bit of a smile. Right, it also doesn't have those overlapping lines that I put in for the rest of them. And so I'm going to add those in. Right, just to give it a little bit more consistency. The rat looks very devious now. Yeah, I guess it does. I think I'm okay with that though. I think that it's okay. I like the little face on it. The horse. I like the style of the horse and the tiger, and I think I'm going to keep the other animals more just kind of basic and decided that I'm not going to put patterns in them. I planned on it, but I kind of like how they are looking right now, so I think I'm going to keep them as is. The rooster, though, I feel like should be smaller. And then this like bottom row is all small. And then this pig is huge. I mean, they're not all to size, but some last adjustments here. Oh, I think the rooster needs an eye. So just want to make sure that all of them look consistent so that they look like they are a set. That's why it's important, you know, to draw them all separately and then to go in and then put in all like the stuff that will make them look consistent with each other in terms of design, right? So like what's in front, what's behind. I think these little lines do a lot. So, oh, thank you. Thank you about the pig for the compliment. The smile was a good choice. Thanks. Yeah, so I think I do want to write the, I have to practice my Chinese. I was going to write the names of all of these creatures, but I might do that after the stream. But there you go. Those are the 12 animals. I hope that you had fun and you kind of learned a little bit of the process, and you can see kind of how messy sometimes these things start off as. And you know, I just want to give a shout out to XP Pen. XP Pen, you guys have an awesome selection of digital art tablets. I recently upgraded to the 24-inch, which I really enjoy. And yeah, so if you're looking for an affordable and reliable digital tablet, you can go browse their store. Their tablets are very affordable. They are not touch screen, which actually adds to their affordability. I don't use the touch screen anyway. I find that it gets kind of in the way. But I use my XP Pen for a lot of things. I use it as a second screen all the time. Or a third screen. And our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone. So join us for free live stream lessons every week. We might be changing around the stream schedule, so stay tuned for that in February. Also, we're not just a YouTube channel. We are a school of illustration, helping art nerds turn their passion into income. So if you're an art nerd, be sure to join our Discord. !Discord, where you can find our notes and artwork from streams. So I will be uploading this to the Discord. Sometimes I hop on after stream as well to finish my artwork. So meet us on the Discord. There's lots of art nerds on there, you know, sharing their artwork and also sharing their expertise. We have a lot of people giving their time for critiques, and it's also where you'll find our challenges and other resources to help you improve your art. And thank you to our incredible Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you again for the donation, Joe, and all of the people who support our channel. You can check out our Patreon or our YouTube. We do live critiques on there. So my critiques are Friday at 1 p.m. Sometimes we change the times around, but if you want access to live critiques on your artwork from instructors, definitely check out our Patreon. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for all of those who stuck around. And hopefully I will see you on the Discord. Bye-bye.